Good evening, everybody. I'm just out back with the sheep. They kind of got away from me today. I was using a single strand polywire temporary fence to keep them in, and they figured out that they could run through it. So I've got them kind of cornered off in the back here. And they were just grazing here pretty happily, but they noticed that I'm starting a little bonfire here. So it looks like they're all kind of moving away. But it's a beautiful evening out here. So I figured I'd share it. Trying to get rid of some of these sticks that my dad cleaned up for me. Hi, kitty. Hey, Desert. Good evening. Just hanging out with the sheep who are out back here grazing. They got loose on me today. I haven't been able to get them caught up again yet, but I'm just letting them free graze back here while I'm here. I'm trying to burn some of this sticks and stuff that we cleaned up from around the pond. On a perfect evening for it. Got a couple ducks swimming around on the pond. The cows are way out in the back corner there, grazing. See if oh man, yeah, I know what it's like to have the cows separated from their calves the first 3 or 4 days. It's pretty noisy. Last year I didn't do that. I just left everybody together until it was time to separate the bulls and sell off the calves that we were selling. So I didn't go through that last year, but oh yeah, this is my little piece of heaven back here. This used to be my food plot. Hey, Tammy. Now the sheep are over here grazing it. About a month ago, I came through with a brush hog and I chopped this down, so there's a lot of fresh regrowth. And the sheep have been back here for a little while, so they've grazed on it a bit too. There's plenty of good grazing out here for them. And I needed to allow the pasture that they were in to recover because they were starting to overgraze there. So as long as they stay here, I'm a happy camper. There's the old hunting blind. It's falling apart now. Over the summertime when I had the goats back here, the goats were using it as their shelter. They stopped coming in at night and just stayed out here in my hunting blind. The sheep are looking like they're all in pretty good shape. I'm happy with their condition. Just just one or two of the young lambs. That little white one over there is a little bit thin. It's got a little bit of diarrhea, so probably end up getting rid of that one because it's not performing as well as the rest of them. But the rest of the sheep are doing pretty well. Got half of a moon. Yeah, hunting season started here. I believe yesterday was opening day for archery. So we got to make sure that these sheep stay on the property. Don't want them messing up anybody's hunt and getting themselves stuck with an arrow. Gonna keep feeding this fire here. There's the ducks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. The other 5 are over there on the log. I'm happy to have them back here. I'm trying to get all the ones that we have up by the house caught up. We ended up having about 60 new ducklings this year, so we've got a lot more ducks than I want to take care of throughout the wintertime. So I'm trying to catch the ones that are up by the house, roaming around in the yard and pecking through the garden, pooping on my deck. Catch those ones up, get rid of those ones. And the ones that live back here, the ones that can live back here on their own, I'm happy to have them. Nice. Well, thank you, kitty. I'm glad to hear that it's working out for you. It's a pretty good lifestyle. Hi, Arnold. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. We're out here burning some sticks that we gathered from around the pond. Grazing with the sheep. Watching the sunset. Well, we missed the sunset, but just enjoying the nice weather that we have. Let's see if I can set this down maybe. Is that gonna work? No. There we go. So because the single poly wire wasn't keeping them in, I chased all of the sheep over here, and then they kind of use this dam as their pass through. There's kind of a creek, a little swampy back behind this stuff, and usually they don't like getting their feet wet. So hopefully that'll force them back up this path here where they've been traveling. And I put up a 3-strand temporary fence using the poly wire and the plastic step-in posts. And I don't have as much charge on it as I'd like to, but I did touch it to make sure it worked, and all 3 wires are working. So hopefully that gives them a little bit more of a deterrent, because they were going all the way around the field and they were headed towards the road, and I can't have that. Earlier in the summer when I had them loose, they started stopping by my neighbor's house, and they decided that her flower garden was where they wanted to eat, and she wasn't real happy about it, and I don't want the sheep wandering off the property either, so we're trying this method now. We'll see if the 3 wires work. This here will keep them back in the food plot area, and then they have access all the way up by the house. And there's enough back here that they can graze on for the next few days until we can get some hay delivered, and then I'll feed them hay until we have enough growth again on the pastures to turn them back out. But right now, the pastures that the sheep go in definitely need some rest. Yep, still planning the trip. Rocket stove. Those things are pretty cool. I've seen other people use them. Definitely a neat little thing to have. Crazy how well they work with just little sticks too. Yeah, hoping that by next week I can have Grayson on that Durango Silverton train. He loves his train so much, and I was talking about that just 2 days ago, Desert, building my own outdoor stove for cooking. I'd like to build an outdoor smoker too. Thanks. Thanks, Kitty. Have a good evening. It rained a week ago, or maybe 5 days ago. We got a little bit of rain, maybe half an inch. 6 days ago, it was on Monday. It rained, not very hard, but it rained for 24 straight hours. So everything kind of perked up because we were pretty dry up until that point. Oh, that is cool. We have a restaurant nearby here that they used an old train car to convert it into a dining car at the restaurant, but it's not near a train track. So you don't get to see any trains go by, you just get to eat inside the train car. Yeah, I saw in Diamond's video today that Wolf Creek Pass just got a good snow too. So we'll be driving through there on our way to Pagosa. I'm sure we'll get a chance to see. I expect we'll get a little bit more rain here at some point. I don't know if it's the lack of rain or if it's the temperatures cooling off that has slowed everything down, but leaves are starting to turn here, temperatures are starting to drop, and it's pretty typical. Well, it's typical for us in August not to have much moisture. This year it seems like everything's kind of a month behind. We had our, but usually October is pretty cloudy and rainy and cold here. Last couple of years, I think we've even had snow on Halloween. Yeah, our leaves are just starting to turn. A couple little red ones there. These are starting to yellow up a little bit. The sumac and the ivy are starting to turn red. Of course, this sumac is still green. Yeah, with the moisture comes the molds. Makes my allergies go nuts too. Nice little spot for that. Sure is, James. Good to see you. Perfect evening for this. I'm not real crazy about hot dogs, but I'll put a couple marshmallows on a stick. Yeah, there you go. Kind of bummed about these weeping willows that didn't make it. In my pond restoration project, when I built the dam up and raised the water level up, it submerged those willow trees, and they didn't like being completely submerged. That one there is still on the bank, so it's surviving, although not as happy as it used to be. And those were my favorite trees on the property, so I was kind of bummed out about that. Hopefully we'll get some new ones pop up here around the pond. I got to imagine there's some seedlings from these guys. Oh, thank you. This is a pretty special place. I got lucky to land here. Those ducks sure do like that limb. It's a good place for them to be, too. Nice and safe out there over the water. Oh, don't give up, white duck. They'll make some room for you. Sheep are getting a little closer. All right, come back into focus. There we go. Yeah, we've got coyotes. Usually they're pretty close, too. Sometimes we'll hear them out back in this corner, but usually we hear them across the street, about a half mile that way behind the corn dryers. I think that's where their den is, just over the other side of the street. I think we lost one goat earlier this year to coyotes, maybe two. So far, I've been pretty lucky with the sheep. They used to come back up to the barn at night. They'd come out here and they'd graze, and then they'd come up at night and lay down by the barn, where they're a bit safer. Seems like lately they've been staying back here all night, though, which is more of a concern for coyotes. Yeah, it's hard not to make them pets and get attached to them. Yo, what up, Connie? Just chilling by the fire, watching the cows graze across the pond and the sheep graze behind me. Can hear a big flock of geese off in the distance. Probably landed in one of the fields for the night. Oh yeah. Much better. Have me a seat on my little rocking chair. Put my feet up. Yee. Yeah, I'm not real crazy about working with chainsaws anymore myself. It's hard to tell, but I've got a scar that goes across my foot here, where I almost took my foot off with a chainsaw a few years back. You wouldn't believe how quickly a chainsaw will cut through some flesh. I was wearing boots that had a zipper on the inside of my foot. I can't remember how many stitches that was, but I got extremely lucky because the chainsaw hit the zipper and it bounced over the tendon. And so it exposed the tendon, but it didn't sever it. And that saved me a lot of grief as far as recovery and treatment went. As far as chainsaw wounds go, it was mostly superficial, which I got pretty lucky. Good thing I wasn't wearing my flip-flops that day. Just a few little ripples. Probably from the ducks that were just out there. Pretty quick, I was cutting a stump, and the stump pitched the saw and kicked it back into my foot. And I knew I was hurt right away. But I was in immediate shock. I didn't even, I knew that it was bad, but I didn't realize how bad until I felt my boot fill up with blood pretty quickly. Because my dad was out there helping me clear the wood. And I go, oh, crap. He goes, what? What happened? And I said, I just cut myself. What do you mean, with the chainsaw? Yeah. Is it bad? Yep, it's bad. So I hobbled out into the yard, and my mom ran out with a towel. We wrapped my foot up in a towel as tight as we could. And then I hopped in the car, and Dad sped me to the ER. So it probably took 20 minutes to get to the emergency room, which is not bad at all. Yeah, it was pretty brutal. I couldn't look at it before they stitched it up. It was open. And the worst part about it was once I got to the hospital, they set me in the hand and foot room, and I waited 45 minutes before I could get an anesthetic or any kind of pain medicine for it. So the shock had worn off, and I was starting to really feel it. And I couldn't find anybody that was able to give me anything for the pain until they were ready to start stitching me. And that wasn't much fun either. All in all, it's an experience I wouldn't like to repeat, so I'm much more cautious with chainsaws than I was prior. I like this over here where you can see the duck's shadow in the reflection. Looks like they're upside down. No, it doesn't hurt right away. Shock is an amazing thing. But once that shock wears off, it's a whole different story. Yeah. Yeah, you gotta watch out for those chainsaws. How you doing, Rippy? Good to see you. Just out here and enjoying a peaceful night with perfect weather. I don't know if we can still see. It's getting a little too dark, I think, to see the sheep behind me. The sheep are all still back here grazing with me. Yeah, I could get my fishing rod out, but then I'd have to walk all the way back up to the house to get my worms. Thanks, Connie. It's just one of those things. Every once in a while you lose one. Sheep are pretty cool. I don't know why I was so against raising them for the first 10 years I was out here. I always had goats and I never wanted to get sheep. Thought they were going to be more of a hassle. Of course, I didn't realize there was such a thing as hair sheep that you didn't have to shear either. But the whole hair sheep deal has been a pretty good deal. I've been really happy with them, so I'm glad that my buddy finally talked me into taking some so I can get my feet wet with sheep. The goats are definitely a lot harder to take care of than the sheep. A hair sheep is a sheep that sheds its wool in the spring. They're raised for meat rather than for their wool. They call them hair sheep because they don't really have wool. Well, they do, but it falls off. So I don't have to shear them. I just have to feed them. Still have the pigeons, yes. Down to 12 left. We've had a couple of hawks that have figured out that I have a bunch of baby ducks and pigeons and things that the hawks like to eat. So we've had a few hawks that have been residents here this summer. And so I'm down to 12 pigeons from like 25. So about half of my pigeons are left. Grayson sure does like to fly them though. He gets the little stick out and spooks them out of their house and watches them fly. I like that he enjoys them too, because they are pretty cool. That's better. Grayson turned 3 in August. Time's going by quick. He's growing fast too. He's a healthy little boy. Yeah, I'm hoping it doesn't go too much faster than it has already. Oh, he's nonstop. He has plenty of energy, and he doesn't want to stop playing ever. Favorite cartoon? Lately it's been a show called Mighty Express about trains. He went from Puppy Dog Pals when he was real young to Thomas the Tank Engine, and now it's Mighty Express. But really, he spends more time playing with his toy trains than he does watching any of those shows. I don't really know what ended up happening to the cow. He was just not well and then dead the next day. His symptoms make me believe that it was some sort of either brain injury, swelling on the brain, encephalitis. I hear some raccoons fighting behind me in the woods. So my best guess is he was probably sparring with one of the other cows and cracked his head really hard. And what up, Pyramid? It doesn't seem to be contagious because none of the other cows are showing any kind of symptoms that would make me concerned about him. So I don't think it was. Could it have been something he ate? Maybe, but I don't know what he would have eaten that the other cows weren't eating as well. And it definitely looked like it was something that was more of a neurologic problem than a gastrointestinal problem. You know, he didn't have any diarrhea, he didn't lose weight, he wasn't bloated. He was just uncoordinated and lethargic and then dead. The other thing it could have been, if it wasn't a brain injury or some sort of brain issue, was possibly if he got hooked by one of the other cow's horns that have horns, and he had some sort of hemorrhaging inside and he bled out internally. You know, that might have been causing the weakness that would have shown up as loss of coordination. Those are my two hypotheses. But we still have one good bull out there doing work for us, so it was a good thing we kept 2 bulls this year. And then we'll probably wait until the end of November to bring in a ram to put in with our sheep. So that way we'll be lambing in April, May, somewhere in that area. The chainsaw attack was probably 7 years ago. Not recent. Connie was saying that she had lopped off the tip of her thumb. Him, her, I'm not sure if it's a boy or a girl. Probably a girl, guessing. But, yeah, that kind of brought up the injury topic when dealing with wood. And that was my experience. Nice, Connie. Who knows what you'll be tomorrow? Might change my mind midnight. Strange world we live in today, isn't it? All right, well, now we know. I do hear fish jumping every once in a while. I just bought a couple of fillet knives because I couldn't find mine. Have a fish dinner sometime. I still haven't ever eaten a fish that I've caught out of my pond yet. I think that day is coming soon because I'd like to see what my own fish taste like. Yeah, a little bit here and there. Every couple of weeks I'd probably eat the sunfish or the bluegill. Every couple of weeks we check in with each other, and then I'm going to be headed out there this next week, so I'll get a chance to catch up with him when I'm out there. I've never had bass. Maybe I'll have to try it. I've never had sunfish either, but I've had bluegill, and I imagine that it would be a lot like bluegill. And the guys out here love their bluegill, especially the ice fishermen. It's a beautiful place. I love it out there. I'd spend more time out there if I could. The last couple of years, it seems like I get out there 2 or 3 times a year for a couple weeks at a time. Ice fishing is fun if you're dressed appropriately, or if you have a shanty. I've been ice fishing once, and I was not dressed appropriately, and it was a miserable time. Standing on the ice freezing, exposed to the weather, not catching anything. That wasn't very fun. But I imagine if you're catching fish and you're not freezing, it'd be a pretty good time. North Carolina is supposed to be a really beautiful place. I can't say that I've ever been there, but I've heard nothing but good things about it. I've had friends that live there, and my cousin lived down there when he went to college. And everybody that has been there says it's really nice. Probably pretty humid down too, no? Starting to get darker. I should have brought a flashlight with me. I'll have to make a torch out of one of these sticks. Oh, standing on the wrong side of the fire. Smoke in my face. That's better. Let's see if I still have my lighter with a flashlight on it. I do. Handy little lighter. Hey, sheep. They're still with me. Just about dark. Are we talking about my kiddo, Grayson? He's 3 now. 3 years old. That went by pretty quick. He turned 3 in August. Oh yeah. He requires constant attention, but that's okay. I'm happy to give it to him. Loves his trains. Always wants to play trains. Oh yeah. Yesterday we were harvesting out of the garden, and he was helping pick tomatoes. He likes to pick the tomatoes, and his favorite thing was finding carrots yesterday. Daddy, find me another carrot. Here's a carrot. Here's a carrot. So he had a whole basket full of carrots that he picked. Good evening, Mr. Crouch. Good to see you, sir. And then we've been picking like 5 pounds of raspberries a day out of our raspberry patch. What else were we picking? Oh, we harvested our second round of potatoes yesterday, too. Probably got about 25 pounds, 30 pounds of potatoes. Yeah, he thought it was pretty cool. Oh, there's another carrot. And then when we were picking the potatoes, he'd pick one up. Is this a potato or a rock? That's a potato. Okay, I'll put it in my bucket. And then his bucket got full, and he had to find a new bucket. He loves picking fruit and vegetables. I think he'll be pretty good at this gig someday. Yeah, I was pretty happy we got 2 potato crops in and out this year. And we've been eating them. They're really good. His favorite food is spaghetti and french fries, so I made a bunch of spaghetti sauce with the tomatoes we grew this year. And I've been making him french fries with the potatoes we grew. And then he loves the raspberries and the mulberries. So he's a berry boy. And he also liked the pears and the apples. He didn't eat very many peaches, but he ate a lot of raspberries, he ate a lot of mulberries, a lot of pears, a lot of apples. Yes, sir. Purple sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes are something I've never really eaten. I think I'm allergic to them somehow. I remember getting pretty sick the last time I tried to eat them. But everybody else seems to love them. They look good. I just cut into my first homegrown watermelon yesterday, too. It's probably one of the best watermelons I've had. Super stoked about that. I've tried to grow watermelons 3 years in a row, and this is the first time I've gotten any fruit off of any of them. So I'm saving my seeds. Gonna give it another go next year. Hopefully get more than one watermelon. There was 4 of them on the vine, but only one of them ever grew to a watermelon we could eat. No, I've struggled with them until this year. And like I said, I got one edible watermelon of the 4 that were on the vine. I planted cantaloupe for the first time this year, and they're tiny, like about the size of your hand. They never got any bigger than that. So I never harvested any of them. I just heard another fishy jump. We had a good year for our climbing beans, a good year for cucumbers, a good year for tomatoes. All of the fruit crops were awesome this year here. The corn didn't do so well, but I attribute that more to the damage that was done by the pigs when they got loose into the garden. Potatoes did well. Man, that must be a big fish. I don't like watermelons that much. That's a little expensive for my watermelon taste. $4,000. Ooh. It's like trading 3 cows for a watermelon. I'm not saying I wouldn't try one if there was one around. I just don't know if I'd fork over $4,000 for one. I've heard of people injecting watermelons with alcohol to get drunk on them. Kind of like backwards sangria. Instead of putting fruit in the alcohol, you put alcohol in the fruit. What up, Zoe? Welcome to the bonfire. Can't see my stick pile anymore. It's dark over here. I'm working on it. Put this phone down again so I can get my flashlight out. Be right back. That's better. Oh yeah. Welcome to the party. Got the half moon behind us. Well, this is my kind of party, Zoe. There we go. It's just so warm and friendly. I want to snuggle it. I bet we could have a hell of a time. If we had a little fungi fest. The cuddliest fire I ever did see. Oh, sure is. Yeah, we watched the sun go down about an hour ago. Twilight is now gone, and it's nighttime. I think the sheep have left me too. I don't hear them munching behind me anymore. Don't worry, Zoe. We'll do it again tomorrow. It's smoky. Smoke is like taking its sweet time to go up. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing those guys here shortly. It's been too long. We do have a good time together. They're fun guys to hang out with. Been trying to talk Rex. Yeah, you got it. Been trying to talk Rex into a road trip out here. Now that he's got his mobile command center back, he needs to do a Great Lakes tour. It's not an easy transition, is it? Yeah, me too. I'd like to build a little cabin out here behind the pond. Something that's completely off-grid. Now, he was kind of bummed about that. Yeah, I wanted to do a cob or rammed earth cabin. I think the rammed earth is pretty cool too. Something that's nice and fireproof. I've got the camper back here, but I'd like to have something a little bit more permanent. If things get sketchy. Noise. Uh-oh. We got a runner. Go back in your home. There you go. Be with your friends. You're sneaking out over here too. Back home safe and on fire and stuff. Yeah. Uh-oh. That's a big guy. What's up, Purple? Welcome to the party. Less than 10% battery on my phone, so if at any moment this cuts out, that's your reason. No, I forgot the schmellows at the house. Unless you're asking Purple. Because we're in need of some schmellows. The good thing about phones is they can always be resurrected. Thank you, Desert. It's always good to have you here with us. Huge squishy hugs all around. Grayson, and he wants to be a ghost, and he wants to be a wolf. Those are his 3 costumes that he wants to sport. We've already got the ghost costume and the pumpkin costume. And he has a glow-in-the-dark skeleton suit, too. But he wears that for pajamas, so he doesn't consider that his costume. Those are his pajamas. I need to get a cider press so I can start making my own apple cider with our apples. It even comes with, his pumpkin costume even comes with a little, like, green elf hat that looks like a stem. It's pretty cool. And he's been practicing his trick-or-treating. Trick or treat, smell my feet, give me something good to eat. He's got it down. We've got a neighborhood in the next town over that we go in every year that's always done really well. All the houses participate, and you know, it's like a suburban neighborhood, so all the houses are next to each other. Out here at the farm, we don't get any trick-or-treaters. And I don't mind that. I'd rather live at the farm and have to go somewhere else to trick-or-treat than live in a suburbia. Ooh, a panda? That's cool. You don't see many pandas out and about. Are we still here? Oh, I hear a kitty. Kitty, what are you doing? My phone got too hot. I was too close to the fire. Kitty, what are you doing back here? Hi, kitty. Meow. Come on back up to the house. Meow. Hi, kitty, kitty. That'd be funny. Hi, kitty. Meow. Oh, hi. You just need some loving. Uh-oh, I dropped my flashlight. Meow. Yes, I see you. Meow. Meow. You come back up to the house with me? All right, let's go. I'll follow you. Yeah, you know I got the dogs locked up, so you could come back out of hiding. The dogs chase you away, don't they? Yeah. That's Mama Kitty. My neighbor found her in his barn when I first moved out here, and I didn't have any cats. So I thought, I'll take this cat off your hands since you don't want him. And she was at my house for less than a week, and all of a sudden there was kittens. So you came full of surprises. She's the most friendly social barn cat I think I've ever met. Yeah. You've been here 12 years? Doing well. Yeah, my neighbor wasn't real happy about having a cat in his barn. He was going to put her down. I said, no, don't put her down. I'll come get her. And then she went from being mama kitty to shoulder kitty, because everywhere I went, you had to watch out. If you weren't paying attention, all of a sudden you'd have a cat jump on your shoulder. I tell you what, in the middle of the night, in the dark, you have something leap on your shoulder and you're not expecting it, it'll freak you out. Yeah. So you went from mama kitty to shoulder kitty. And you've been an awesome addition to our farm family. Shoulder kitty. That was her name. 'Cause anytime you'd sit still for 1 minute, if she could get up on your shoulder, she was there. Like a little parrot. Yeah, you thought you were a parrot. Well, she started out as mama kitty, and then she became shoulder kitty. Because when I got her, she had kittens. Uh-oh, what's this? Oh, I see a possum. Cool. Bye, Mr. Possum. Are you a possum? You are a possum. Hello. Oh, a little baby possum. Hi, Mr. Possum. There's your nose.